I'm going to brace the audience because our intro music's going to get a little loud, but we're here to pump you guys up. So let's get it.
Can I get a
Woo! Julio, baby. That's what I have to say. All I have to say is Julio.
That was my bat flip after the home run.
Bat flip. That was the Hoya bat flip. You know, this is our new podcast intro music. It's a Super Saiyan, whatever thing it is, because George, it pumps you up.
Yeah, and it fits Seattle, so it also works out. It works out perfectly.
This is perfect, and it makes us hyped, and we're hyped about Julio Rodriguez and this whole short podcast today. Because first and foremost, we're back. We haven't done a podcast in a while.
Very
a lot
while,
of reasons. It's a lot of reasons, but it doesn't matter really. A lot of travel, a lot of just doing a rebranding, different things, and we're back. So if you guys want to know our voices, I'm Sammy,
and I'm George. Welcome.
So there you go. There you go. You know us. It's the Sports on Tap Seattle podcast, and we're here to talk a short podcast about the legend, the already Seattle legend, the king of Seattle, whatever you want to call it, Julio Rodriguez. He has re-signed for either 8, 13, 16, or 18 years. We'll break that down however
we'll break that down in a second, but I just want to say the Seattle as a city made the greatest trade in history of Seattle sports this year by trading Julio Rodriguez to become the face of Seattle sports for Russell Fraud Wilson. Very, very happy here that we have a new face of Seattle.
Yeah, this Russell Wilson stuff, I'm only going to speak on it for 20 seconds because it is interesting. I feel like it has slowly trickled away. Thank you, Russ, for what you've done. That's slowly kind of trickled away into
it went from thank you to fuck you pretty quick here.
But I think part of that is because we're playing in week 1, especially like it still would have faded eventually, because it's like we have a new quarterback. You got to move on eventually, right? Like the Patriots don't just sit there and think about Tom Brady, and he won 6 Super Bowls. But I think it really adds that it's like, well, you know what? We're playing in week 1, so let's not root for this guy. And then you trade him for a guy like Julio, who clearly, he's 21 years old and wants to be in Seattle if he's signing this extension. And, some people might say, oh, he's signing because it's a good deal. Well, he would get that deal any organization you went to if he didn't re-sign to Seattle. So he wants to be here. He seems like the most real, genuine, happy dude. And
he seems exactly like Junior. Like literally smile on his face, like plays center field with cool sunglasses. And like he just seems like Ken Griffey Jr. did when he was a young guy that wanted to be here forever. I know he left eventually. They came back at the end, and Junior's people still put Junior with Seattle, right? And I think like Julio's going to be Seattle for his career. I can't believe I'm saying it. When he makes the Hall of Fame, he's going to go in with a Seattle Mariners hat, regardless if he plays here 15 out of the 20 years of his career or all 20 years out of his career.
Yeah, and it's just confusing because it's like at this point, it sounds like a huge contract. You know how Mike Trout got that huge type of contract. Mm-hmm. Bryce Harper, Manny Machado, even the Robin Cano one, what was that, like 10 years back now?
Yep.
A 10-year deal. The difference between this is like this dude might play out his contract for 10, 12 years and still be like 31, 32.
And by the end of that contract, when you're entering, I mean, not the end, but let's say year 8, 9, 10, he might be underpaid, which with the way we've seen things been moving lately. I mean, I'm not going to say he's in poverty, but he might be the best player in baseball.
Poor guy, $470 million.
But he might not be paid like the best guy in baseball at that time of his career.
Yeah, but it is confusing. So actually, before we even talk about it, because it is kind of confusing, I'm going to read off the details without having to read them off word for word, because it is a thread of complicated tweets from Jeff Passan. But just bear with me for a second here. It could be 8, 13, 16, or 18 years. But right now it guarantees $210 million, and it can be $470 million. The base is 8 years, $120 million. So that's through 2029. At 2028, George, we have to make the decision on whether we pick up the option or not. And now that's where things get interesting, because if we pick it up, you can just start seeing the money stack a little higher. the years get stacked. But if we don't, things get tricky. The size and length of it depends on his performance and MVP voting. So the option is for 8 or 10 years on top of the original, depending on how he fares in MVP voting, the wins for the team and the finishes we have. So it can range anywhere from 200 to 350 million. If we pick up the option, it guarantees him at least 320 million.
Okay.
If we don't pick up the option after year 7, he has a player option after year 8, or he has 5 years, 90 million. Thus, a 13-year structure for 210. That's the floor. That's it.
That's the minimum.
Turn it down and hit free agency right before his 30th birthday, which is scary to think. Like 10 years from now, he's going to be turning 30, and he could be a free agent. But that's if we don't pick up the option. The likeliest outcome, according to Jeff Passan, is he's on the Mariners. Take a deep breath. He's on the Seattle Mariners through 2037, which is, I'll be like 45 years old almost at that point. You'll be about 50 years old.
Shit, I don't even want to think about right now. But as our good friend, listener to the pod, Dan Bright said, D Bright CRC on Twitter, do you think we'll make the playoffs during this contract?
Another 20-year drought. Here we come. Julio's like, why the fuck did I stay here?
No, which I do think we will. But
I'm hoping we do this year, George.
Here's a question for you, and we kind of talked about this with some buddies this weekend. You know, with the contract, I think we all get that, right? There's so many options. It's really hard for us. It's hard to keep track of. But what is it going to take for Julio Rodriguez to be known as the best Seattle Mariner of all time?
Yeah, it's a complex question.
I know.
It's going to take a lot because he could be just not good. This is the scary part about a baseball contract compared to other sports, first and foremost, because if you see a guy have a stellar year in basketball, like a LeBron James, a Zion Williamson, a Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, you're pretty sure, unless there's a tragic injury, like a Derrick Rose situation, you're pretty sure the guy's good.
Yeah, and they don't have to sign 14-year contracts. They sign 5 max.
5. Baseball, I'm not saying it happens often, but there is a lot. Those are usually on the older ends, but there's a lot of 10-year deals that at the end people are like, Jesus, like get this guy off the roster. Right. And what we did is very rare. Like the one, I mean, even I don't think Mike Trout even got the contract.
Not this early.
First year even ended, right? Like Bryce Harper didn't get it before.
It took him like how many games has Julio played so far? 80.
Whatever we've played, this saw 100 probably,
right?
No,
because he had some injuries, he missed some time. So I'm just wondering. I don't know. He played 80 games, maybe,
roughly. So, but that's where I mean, it's getting like if he keeps getting better, or keeps up this pace. There's a good chance he becomes the best player in Mariners history because if he makes 2-3 playoffs and has a great playoff performance, who's to say he's not the best?
No, totally. Remember in spring training when the question was if we should bring him up or is he going to stay another year?
I would say that's a little before spring training too, though, because like once spring training started going, everyone was like, he's coming up. It was, but a little bit before spring training, especially. Remember, it was like. Mariners like maybe they'll hold him back for you. Lick Kelnick and Kyle Lewis, guys that are on the roster right now. Like they're the time right now.
Kelnick can't be feeling too good today. I mean, I don't want to pile on to him, but this is probably not the best day in Kelnick's life.
I mean, in his since he's been back in AAA, he's batting like
326, 342. Exactly. He went 2 for 3 yesterday, with a homer, double, 2 walks, and 3 RBIs.
My point exactly. Like that, you can't. Who knows? Maybe he'll be good for all we know. Julio, by the way, Julio has played 108 games.
108 games. Cool.
Yeah. So it took him 108 games to get $420 million.
Nice. And that's inspiration, guys. If you ever think that your life can't turn around quick, it only took 108 games for Julio Rodriguez to sign a goddamn $400 million contract. So cool.
Life comes at you fast in a good way.
So cool.
Hopefully everyone on this podcast gets the same type of love in life.
Absolutely.
Something crazy like that. Well, we just came on to say we're hyped. Stay tuned on this podcast. We will have a lot of Seahawks stuff coming up and Mariner stuff because we're about to get in the thick of it. But that's all I got to say. George, you got anything else?
Yeah, I'm just going to give some people information on this pod real quick. We're going to be doing a lot of these shorter pods that go up on YouTube full pods 10 minutes, and then our long form pods. If you're watching this on YouTube, if you want like a full 40-minute, 50-minute pod when we do those, you got to find those on podcasts.
So
like
subscribe. The link will be below. Like
Exactly.
it'll be in the link or whatever in the description. The sports. Just look up Sports on Tap Seattle on all platforms. It'll come up. And for the pages, it's on Seattle, SONT Seattle. So you'll be able to find everything there. That's a good point, though. These short ones will be on YouTube. Long ones, you might get clips, but like you said, in the description, find the full pod and leave a review.
Oh, we love reviews.
We love reviews. Well, George, I want to send the people off with, can I get a? Oh yeah.
That's I thought you were about to play the clip again.
Well, George, all I want to say is thanks for stopping by. And I was going to play the clip again. I just thought you'd get more hyped. So
and I was waiting for it. I was about to I thought you were about to drop it.
This time it's going to be the real clip. So can I get a? Oh yeah.
Can I get a?
I hope the people like that because that's how we're signing off. So, George, have a wonderful afternoon and go Mariners.
Peace.
Just one more time for you.
Julio!